This is an iNeo Pro 2021. It's a portable computer that you can play PC games on the go, and it's fascinating how technology is today. Imagine that. But let's not forget where everything started. In 1989. Back in the days, I never thought that games could be portable one day, until I saw those Game & Watch units appear in various places. One of my friends had one of those and I was fascinated. It felt high-tech, premium, and easy to carry around. Then I started seeing people having different games in different units. Some of them were even co-op with two controllers. So to give you an example, I got a unit here made by Tiger, and it uses the same technology as the Game & Watch. It's beefier, it looks cool, and back then, I had a lot of hope for this unit. And for some reason, I thought I was about to get a Street Fighter experience. But I don't know what I'm doing. But this changed everything when I saw this.
But now you can have all the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable. Features new games, Tetris, and for head-to-head competition and blow your opponent away. Now you're playing with power, portable power.
They called it the Game Boy, and this is the original from 1989. It was small, it looked futuristic, and it had potential. It felt like the NES gave birth to a baby Game Boy. And just like that, it solved my problem on gaming on the go. And I can still remember the Game Boy box. It was the most beautiful design I ever saw for that time. I definitely felt the power.
Portable power.
The Game Boy was advanced for its time. You had the volume wheel, a headphone jack, and a link cable input, which you connected two Game Boys to play co-op on certain games, and a contrast wheel for the screen. Nothing was complicated with the Game Boy. It simply worked. The 2.6-inch LCD monochrome screen was small. You had to be close to a lamp and on a certain angle in order to benefit the better view. No doubt it was its weak point, but that was the technology at the time. Even its rival like the Game Gear with the full color screen, it didn't dent the Game Boy dominance. And in the end, when you immerse yourself in a game such as Zelda, you don't see it after a while. And to be honest with you, I don't remember it being an issue. It all comes down to quality games. So what made the Game Boy so special? Were the interchangeable cartridges, also known as game packs. It had a huge game library for the Game Boy. At its peak, it had more than 1,000 games to choose from. You had games for everyone. The game came in a sort of a square plastic case. They were small enough to carry around, plus they were made solid. They even pushed the limit by creating a camera and a printer for it. So at one point, you felt you could do anything with it, and you couldn't go wrong having the Game Boy as your arsenal. Super Mario Land was the first game I ever played on the Game Boy, and needless to say, I never went back to the watching game. So I have to give my respect, well deserved, to the creator of the Game & Watch and the Game Boy, Mr. Gunpei Yokoi. Mind you, how significant was this at the time? This was the 80s, and there was nothing like this back then. This is way before the Game Gear, the Lynx, and the TurboGrafx 16. You were part of the cool kids if you owned a Game Boy, and if you did meet someone with a unit, you immediately compare your game library with them to exchange or to borrow a game pack. Now that's the power.
Portable power.
The Game Boy became more than just a gaming device. It became a cultural icon. It was everywhere. It was referenced in media, in movies, cartoons, and it even went through a bomb. And it still worked. The sales of the original Game Boy combined with the Game Boy Color outsold the NES console, eventually selling for 118 million units worldwide. The world did embrace the Game Boy, even getting into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2009, certifying it an OG of the handheld. And from that point on, every company was trying to come up with something better, something big, something original, but it was the Game Boy that paved the way for what we have today. And this is how the GB left its mark on the world. Did the Game Boy stood the test of time? Well, the unit did eventually got replaced with a different evolving unit, and Nintendo Online are bringing back some of the games from the original Game Boy, giving you a chance to try them out. And I think there must be a demand for it. Another way to discover the full library is through the emulation world. Today, you can buy a modern Game Boy with a better screen, full of game ROMs, and with a USB-C type connection, anywhere on Amazon or on eBay. So now you can enjoy the classical games and the 1989 Anybody that was born in the Game Boy era will always feel nostalgic when they see one, regardless of their profession or their walk of life. The Game Boy is still special today. The godfather of the handheld is the Game Boy.